I'd like to welcome you guys to this week's report. Today is Thursday, August 8th. It's been another week of very nice hot weather here in Southern California. Sadly, it's also been a week of hot weather here in my studio, so going to try and keep things moving along today before I sweat through my shirt here. But before I get going here, the weather looks pretty good everywhere all weekend. A little bit of wind in the northern Channel Islands. I don't know that anybody's really fishing up that way right now, but for those that do, we're probably used to that wind, so it's not a big issue. On Sunday, we get a little bit of a southeast condition along the beach, a Catalina eddy, but that should not be the end of the world. It's not blowing very hard. And basically, the outer Tuna areas, things like that, are pretty much calm in the morning and some west wind in the afternoon, which is pretty standard for summertime. So over to the Channel Islands, not a lot of news from up there. I know it was windy up there last week quite a bit, and fishing got slowed down a bit, but the Aloha Spirit has been consistently catching a nice mixed bag of fish at Santa Cruz Island. They're getting calicos, bass, barracuda, halibut, the occasional smaller yellowtail. There's also some bigger yellowtail being caught up there from time to time, but that's fairly inconsistent. And yeah, just standard fishing up there. Maybe on the next full moon here, we'll have some more sea bass show up and stuff like that, but kind of in between stage right now. So sorry about that. The boats out of Santa Barbara are also fishing calicos on the half-day trips along the coast. Good calico bass fishing. They're also getting some nice rockfish. Just fun fishing, you know. Not really much exotic-wise, but just good all-around bite. Might also be some marlin and tuna up that way. I don't know if anybody's really looking for them. I know one of the boats out of Ventura Harbor caught a couple of marlin the other day, but they probably ran south, I'd guess. Weather permitting, that might be worth a look out in that zone. I really haven't seen an SST chart for up there. I probably should have looked at that before I started talking here, but I didn't even think about it. But if you're going to head out up there, I'm sure you've already done that work. So going back down to kind of follow the pattern we took last week with our northern zone here, and that includes everything from above Clemente down to in towards the beach, and then down towards Orange County as well. And starting at Clemente itself, they're still catching yellows there. I know there was quite a bit of boat traffic there over the weekend with a lot of the San Diego boats that are fishing bluefin at night or fishing yellows during the day at the island. And Jeff Barkland from the Thunderbird had a pretty funny comment I'm not going to share about what's going on there because it was kind of a gross comment. But suffice it to say, it's on the weekend there, it was pretty close quarters with all those boats in there. But the yellows bit through it. They're getting some nice yellows still. Fishing the front side, are biting sardines, they're eating the service iron, doing all that stuff you like for yellows to do in the summer. There's still some fish in the backside. I don't know that there's any squid back there anymore, but there's still some bigger fish into the Pride. Got into some real big ones the other day. I assume they were probably on the back. So yeah, sorry, I'm reading my notes here. They're very convoluted. Other than that, you know, the boats are mostly concentrating on tuna in that zone, so it's kind of a dual deal there. I actually did some of that on a Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah. I was going to actually start at the coast here and move out. So Matt and I plan to fish, and we're going to fish PV. So we got out of the harbor at like 8 a.m. or 7:45. No reason to get there too early. And we got to the Point Firm, and it was 64-degree water. And we ran all the way up to Rocky Point, where we found nothing warmer than 64 and as cold as 63 degrees. Current going the wrong direction, always. No signs of fish at all. So at about 9 o'clock, we decided to bail for the west end of Cat. We ran over there. It's pretty close to Rocky. It's only about 20 miles. So it was, we were there in 40 minutes. And pretty choppy on the way across with the uphill current, but once we got onto the backside, it was actually rougher on the front side than it was on the back. We got around the corner and had nice conditions. And the bass were biting very good. When we first stopped, the first cast I made, I actually had like a 15, 20-pound yellowtail following my hardbait in. And we saw a few more yellows throughout the smaller ones and also some big ones, but they were not committing to the lures. We actually, probably had half a dozen followers, but I don't know why they weren't biting. They were just being yellows, but they will bite. My friend Ron Matro just texted me a picture this morning of a 33 pounder. He got a cat earlier this week on an Alabama rig, war rig, that Warbait's Alabama rig they make. And so anyway, we just fished bass from the west end down to Little Harbor and caught fish along the way. Most of our best bites were along isolated patches of kelp out away from the beach. We caught a few fish along the beach, but more of the bites were on those isolated patches of kelp. The bass were pretty schooled up in those areas. You have a lot of followers. You can make multiple casts to the same spot and get bites. Matt threw that big AFCO hard bait, the Blue Fever 165, the same bait he threw for yellowfin the other day. And the caligas really bit that. Well, they bit it better than the smaller baits, actually. Problem is, targeting those bigger bass near kelp or casting right up against kelp with the hard bait is a lot of those bass will get you into kelp and they will come off. And while we had a lot of really nice fish, we lost some really good ones too. And so that was a bit of a heartbreak. But I've got a few different videos here to kind of show them what we're doing in different scenarios with the hard bait, fishing around boiler rocks, fishing around isolated kelp and stuff like that.
Oh boy, got two. Back to one.
Okay, I'm on the board now. Watch out.
Whatever they're supposed to be.
I'll have a little blood trail behind this lure now.
With all those falls, you didn't get another bite.
Yeah. They're all lit up too. Very excited. Let me get one across this right here.
Well, that's the front side, other than the back. I'm all out of whack. I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. Nice.
Good one, huh? Oh, another nice one tried to bite it.
Catalina Island bull bass.
That's right. What's this jig? The AFCO what?
Blue Fever hard bait.
Blue Fever hard bait. Yellowfin a couple weeks ago, and calicos today.
And then bluefin in a little while.
Bluefin on the way home.
Now we're gonna peel off the island a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I didn't feel it. Like Iron Man.
I don't feel anything.
I tried to think, but nothing happened.
Low Iron Man.
Hello, Iron Man. Will they fishing this rock?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Bass live by rocks.
They do. They love it. If I'm going to be home.
love the sound that bait makes me cast it.
Yeah,
Crack.
it definitely clicks.
Look at those two sea lions. They remind me of
That's a good one.
Katie and Chloe. You got a
That's
good
a big
one?
one right there. God, he pulled hard. That's not that big. He snagged. That's why.
Oh, that'll do it.
Like, fuck. I thought, here's my 8-pounder.
There's a 4-pounder.
Yeah. 4 4s, 5 5s, and a flounder. Boy, he
5
pulled.
flounder.
He pulled so friggin' hard.
Yeah.
Come on. I know. I'll fucking eat you. You're messing with the wrong one. There's a membrane right there. Got him right in the membrane.
Membrane.
I'm not trying to tear your mouth off, but
Just tear it,
fucking
man.
damn it. No, his jaw's gonna be torn in half. Sorry. I don't want to do that.
I'm trying to get another caster and book up on the rocks.
Oh my god. Boy, you hit it hard.
You remind me of Katie and Chloe. Another one?
Bight. Might have been a rock. There's a rock right there. Just below the surface. Oh, there's a bite. There's a bite. Jesus Christ, Eric.
What's that?
He's a puller. Let's go.
Got you the kelp?
Got me the kelp right off the bow here, yeah. Go forward a little bit. There we go. Oh, he got off.
All right, make it happen, Gab. Bird's ripping.
Yeah. Oh, pulled it right out of his mouth.
Huh?
Pulled it right out of the little guy's mouth.
That one?
Yeah, he's a little guy though.
Followers?
I don't know, he's in the kelp.
Not a little guy. Oh, you got kelp.
Yeah, kelp and a bit.
Oh, I thought that was all fish. I was like, holy cow.
He's not too bad. Put in the soup pot. That's actually
Nice
a good one.
Little guy.
That's a little guy. See, that's
Nice little guy.
yeah. I'm telling you, this thing getting some big bites today. Jesus Christ, this is a little guy. Look at that.
Later in the day, conditions kind of changed a little bit, so I found some, instead of fishing the outer edges of the kelp and stuff, we started fishing some thicker kelp, and there was a lot of that little rice in there, that tiny anchovy, and the bass were boiling on it, so we caught them on the 7-inch slug, and also the little 5-inch swim bait, weedless swim bait, which was fun.
A lot of that fried in here.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Nibble in. Look at them all.
Like maggots.
Yeah.
All tiny ones though.
Let me throw a slug back there real quick. I'm gonna throw a slug back there real quick. Boy, that rice is small.
What's that?
That rice is really small.
Yep.
Like 1 inch.
That.
Once he got me stumped now.
I know you got him.
I got him. I mean, it came off, but I had him for a second.
That was a nice boil.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. I think he got off just then.
Toddlering action on little guys.
Yeah. Sea bass, about a 15-pound sea bass went that way.
Really?
Yep. Yep. Eat that sea bass. God, a lot of cool fish.
Yeah. Wild.
He's like this big, Eric.
Nice.
5 feet down. I'm going to meet this slug. Cruising.
Oh!
God damn. Stop here.
That was exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Okay.
Fun fishing.
It really is, yeah. Glad we made the crossing.
And we did that for, I don't know, we got to the island around 9. No, we got to the island around 10. We probably, or 9:30. We probably fished until 11:30, 11:45. We had, 40 or 50 bass, maybe, I don't know, 30 to 50 bass. I didn't really keep accurate count. But we were on the tide. It was supposed to get windy later, so I decided to run off the island, look for bluefin. So we were basically, right at the isthmus there, so we just ran straight out off the backside of the island to the 500 fathom curve, and that's where the island comes down and meets the seafloor. And that's a pretty consistent area to hold tuna and also marlin and things like that. But we get out there, and I didn't even have my binoculars, but we found some fish pretty quick. And as we followed those fish, we noticed that there was more and more boats on the horizon. And we got on a couple spots, and they wouldn't bite. These bluefin tuna, for me anyway, fishing with hard baits or any kind of cast lure, I kind of could tell by their posture if they're going to bite or if they're not going to bite. These definitely look like bluefin that were not going to bite, at least the ones that we saw. They were foaming, but they were loose. They were not concentrated. They were swimming around a lot and also feeding away from the bait ball. So that, the bait to tuna ratio was just too high. You have that much bait and a limited number of tuna, they get a lot less competitive and they're less likely to hard bait.
2 spots of them, yeah. That's that geo to the left, though.
take out. All right, stand up. I'm going to that one.
That's the Jet Nat Geo.
That looks better. Foamers everywhere.
Huh?
Foamers everywhere. So bad.
Things are a little skittish. Who's shy?
Get in there.
Getting in there. I'm in there now.
There you go. You scared him with your lure. Here, hold on, I'll go over here.
They're a little skittish. Yep. These aren't the dumb
Hey,
ones.
your lure hit the water, they bugged out.
Huh?
Your lure hit the water, they bugged out.
Yeah.
You think that counts, right?
Such a great scene right there. They don't like that lure.
We might have found a school eventually that would have bit, but the boats are a lot of those boats out there are fishing for other boats as opposed to fishing for bluefin or looking for bluefin. So after you stop and make a couple casts, you have a few boats running up on you, and that's really not my cup of tea. So we gave that about 40 minutes before calling it and heading home. Could I have stayed out there, maybe caught a tuna? I don't know, maybe, but it's not worth the frustration I would have had after seeing some videos online this week of guys fishing the kite and getting tangled up and stuff. None of that is for me. I'd rather just catch bass. I'm just happy to find tuna. I like to be among tuna, and that was mission accomplished there. And I didn't need to catch one to make myself feel better. They were only like 30 or 40 pounders anyway, maybe 25 to 35 pounds. But we went home, and luckily we were coming home from the west end because it was very windy in the channel. And so if there's going to be afternoon west wind, and you're launching at Long Beach, you're much better off coming around that west end of Cat than you are coming around the east end because you would get destroyed. So some other friends of mine went out. Oliver Nye from Big Bass Dreams, Big Tuna Dreams as well now. He was out there the same day. He fished a little bit further out than I did. Seemed like the fish that he found were a little more cooperative, and he caught some bluefin on the stick baits and poppers by a company called Cast Fishing that he's working with there. And he said the same problem, very finicky, very difficult to get bites. A lot of casts for very few bites, and kind of the name of the game. And then on Sunday, my friends Gary Reyes, Jay Jones, and Mike Semmridge went out. They spent most of the day chasing around non-biting bluefin as well with hard baits, and then they ended up putting the mad backs out and catching 3 fish pretty easily, it sounded like. So if you got to catch one, I guess you can fish a madback. It's I don't have any. I probably wouldn't have probably fished them if I did. Also in that zone, there was another albacore caught. There's been a few albacore caught this year, and there's not really any volume anywhere. I think they're just random fish. I remember back in the days when we catch albacore, you catch 200 albacore and have 1 or 2 bluefin in the mix. I think it's the same now, but reversed. Maybe it's a sign of things to come. Who knows? The stuff down south and along the beach has really slowed down a bit. There's still some fish on kelp patties. I got a report from Kieran Murphy, who was bass fishing last week, and he got out again this week, and they fished the 302 area where I'm sure they fished a lot of different areas, but they found a patty on a 302 that was loaded with yellowtail. They caught some nice yellows. They caught a dorado. Yellows were up eating the SP minnow. Really good fishing, looked like. So I guess if you find the right patty, you can still catch some fish. My iPad is broken, so I have to use my phone. Or my iPad's dead, so I have to use my phone to look at my notes, and it keeps shutting off. I apologize. So, in other news, new news, Tanner Banks is biting. Tanner Bank, Cortez Bank, Tanner Bank area. If there's fish on Tanner, there's sometimes fish on Cortez. So, there hasn't been that many boats out there this week, but I think there's going to be more this weekend, and we'll find out if they're biting on both banks. But that is a mixed grade of bluefin and some nice sized yellowtail biting. I know the boats that were out there earlier this week, the Freedom, they had limits of bluefin. I think it was 62 fish up to 90 pounds and 28 big yellows. Eldorado had limits of fish up to 180 pounds. And it sounds big, but 90% of these fish are those 30 pounders. So don't mistake it for anything else. Thunderbird had 49 bluefin and 23 yellows. That type of fishing, fly line fishing, sardines, small hook, 20 to 30 pound line, maybe 30 pound line, 40 pound line, you get away with it. I'm thinking about the old days when I used to fish out there for that smaller grade fish. Some of that fish is on the anchor, some it's drifting. I don't know what they're doing now, but what I do is I try and fish the heaviest line I can get away with. And, if you're fly lining, you can fly line with, 50 pound Spectra, a 20 or 30 pound fluorocarbon leader, you'll be good. A little circle hook. You don't have to worry about getting bit off. So yeah, those have been biting pretty good for the boats. I don't know how it's going to handle more boat pressure. I looked at the AIS today. There was like 2 boats out there that had their AIS turned on, but that doesn't really mean anything. I know the Eldorado has day-and-a-half trips online out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. I think the Freedom has them at 22nd Street Landing. If you live up here, there's no reason to drive all the way to San Diego to go fish the Cortez Bank or Tanner Banks because it's about the same distance either way. Yeah. So that's a good thing. The sport boats are still getting some bigger bluefin at night. Kind of in the same area. The guys are getting them on the kites during the day. So you can fish a kite during the day and catch a big bluefin. And then if you're a sport boat, you can follow that up by drifting all night and getting nauseous, winding your jig up and down and tangling each other and hopefully catching 1 or 2 tuna. You're gonna head into the beach. I'm just gonna do a general coastal report here because there's not a whole lot of information from anywhere. I got a report from a viewer, Jacob Reisberg, I think his last name is pronounced. He was fishing out of Malibu on his kayak. Kayak's great for fishing for him. You get a lot of areas you can't get with the boat. The bad news is it's kind of hard to take pictures of your fish, but he got this nice 22-inch calico on a 7-inch fluke bait, and he said he had good calico bass fishing up there. So good job to him. And as I always say, if you guys have a fish report you want to share with your friends or some information you want to share with me that I can pass along to others, feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook and send me some pictures. I'm happy to include you. We'll make it a collaborative affair here. Uh-oh. Well, I just closed out my, okay. I guess I'll wing it the rest of the way here. Down in Dana Point, they're having good calico bass fishing on the sport boats down there. I know they had some anchovies the other day and had even better fishing. Everybody likes these big sardines, but you got to take anchovies. It makes for much better bass fishing than sardines ever have. Down the coast, I talked to Tom Troop. He's been out fishing pretty much constantly and had some mixed results. Earlier this week, he launched out of San Diego. Said the water rolled down there, cold water, slow bass fishing. So he went up to Oceanside, I think Tuesday. Reported better bass fishing. He said nothing to write home about, but he had like 25 fish. They're suspended, in less than 50 feet of water. He fished the hookup bait pretty much exclusively, and he's been having good fishing doing that. He's also really active in that CCA Star Tournament, and it's a reminder to you guys, if you signed up for that thing, to send in your fish you catch with the bass that's 18 inches or over. I think Tom's up to like 70 submissions already, so I'm really hoping he wins that boat. But yeah, that's really it. I'm sure the coast is biting. There's be days where the water rolls over like it did Saturday up to PV, but if it's like that, just keep driving. Go somewhere else. Go to Catalina. Go, look for something different. Or if it's colder water on the, the calico fish deeper and catch sand bass or calicos in deep water, they're not as affected by it. And then finally down in San Diego, the boats are fishing the Coronado still and having good fishing. And last week I talked about it dropping off, but it's picked back up. And They're, you know, some of the sport boats like the San Diego, they're getting 50 or 60 fish scores pretty regularly. The 4-pack boats like Seasoned Sport Fishing are doing well. Pretty much everybody going down there, they're getting fish on flathead sardine, service iron, yo-yo jigs, all that. I guess the sea lines can be a bit of a problem some days. And if there's enough boats to spread them out, you won't have an issue. But if there are only a few boats in the area, you might get ramrodded. What I have done, I actually learned it from Dwayne on Pinnacle, is that if you catch some bonita or anything else like that, just keep them in the splash wheel of your boat, ready to stand by there. And if you get a yellow and you got it coming up, you got a sea line on you, throw that dead bonita out there. He'll eat that. You can get your yellow in. I would avoid fishing by sport boats if you're a private boater because they tend to have a lot more sea lines around them. You can also drive away from sea lines. So if you're on fish and you get a sea line on you, don't just sit there and try and fight with the thing. Just once you lose your fish or get your fish, drive away from that area and that sea line, drive away fast. Don't just idle away or he'll follow you. If you drive away fast, he's gonna go find the next boat. And you go right back to where you were. So, yeah. I'm sure that area down there will have a lot of coverage again this weekend because there's not a whole lot going on offshore out of San Diego. But yeah, just bring your patience anywhere you go. And if you don't want to do it, go fish bass like I do. You'll be a lot happier. But that's about it. I hope you guys have a great weekend and good luck if you fish.